Well, howdy y'all special little angels. Let me tell you what, January has finally come, and it's going to be a fabulous new year. Well, I've asked everyone to send me little requests about what books they would like me to read. And this month I had a request come from, we'll just call him B-Man. He's someone very special. And he asked me to read Dr. Seuss. So I picked out the 3 books that I could think of that he would be really interested in, and that y'all might be interested in as well. So, here it goes. Our first book is called Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. It goes a little something like this. I am Sam, Sam I am. That Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a little bitty mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? You have a little fox here and a little fox there. Not in a box, not with a fox. Not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here. I would not eat them there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not, could not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you, could you, in a car? Eat them, here they are. I would not, could not, in a car. You may like them, you will see. You may like them in a tree as they go up a long, beautiful tree. I would not, could not, in a tree. Not in a car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in a house. I would not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like them green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. A train, maybe a train. A train. Could you ride and eat them on a train? See the little beautiful train here? Well, not in a train, not in a tree, not in a car. Sam, let me be. I would not, could not, in a box. I would not, could not, with a fox. I will not eat them with a mouse. I will not eat them in a house. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Say, it's the dark. Here in the dark? Would you, could you, maybe eat them in the dark? I would not, could not, eat them in the dark. Would you, could you, in the rain? I would not, could not, in the rain. Not in the dark, not on a train. Not in a car, not in a tree. I do not like them, Sam, you see. Not in a house, not in a box. Not with a mouse, not with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. You do not like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. As they go down a long railroad coming out of the tree. Could you, would you, with a goat? Now how many of them out there got a goat? Well, let's go see if we can eat some green eggs and ham with some goats. I would not, could not, with a goat. Well, would you, could you, with a boat? Well, here's a beautiful yellow boat. As they try to go eat green eggs and ham, I would not, could not on a boat. I will not, could not, will go. I will not eat them in the rain. I will not eat them on a train. Not in the dark, not in the tree, not in a car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house. I will not eat them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. You do not like them, so you say. Try them, and you may. Try them, and you may, I see. Sam, I will let you be. I will try them, you will see. There he goes, he's fixing to try them. See, the green eggs and the ham. Don't know how they got that ham green. Say, I like green eggs and ham, he says. I do, I like them, Sam, I am. And I would eat them in a boat, and I would eat them with a goat. Like a goat named, let's see, Mabel, or I don't know. That would be something special to eat with. Well, I will not eat them in the rain, and I will not eat them in the dark or on a train. And I will not eat them in a car and in a tree. They are so good, but let me let you see. So I will eat them in a box, and you know what? I'll even eat them with a fox. And I will eat them in a house, and I will eat them with a mouse. And I will eat them here or there. Say, I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam I am. The next book, let's just go right on to the next one. This is going to be about insects and bugs. I know how that bee-man likes his bugs. Well, it goes a little something like this. I am the cat in the hat, and I'm glad I found you. Right now, if you look, you'll see insects around you. See the beautiful butterflies? And you got a little grasshopper right here. Well, they live in the water, the earth, and the sky. Just wait, and you'll soon see an insect go by. There are millions of them. I will show you some to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Most insects you meet have hard shells and lay eggs. A praying mantis, a ladybug, a grasshopper, a black ant, a butterfly. Well, they have wings and can fly, and they all have 6 legs. How would you guess that? So if they have wings, they're probably going to have 6 legs. Spiders aren't insects. The news couldn't wait. Instead of 6 legs, every spider has 8. So spiders have 8 legs. If you look at an insect up close, you will see that all its body parts, and each insect has 3. So it has a head, a thorax, an abdomen, and what is that? That's a cricket, of course. First the head and then the thorax. Here at the end, the longest part is called the abdomen, right down here. And that's a cricket. Insects cannot see all things that surround them, so they each have 2 fillers to touch what's around them. An insect has fillers on top of its head. Some look a lot like a thin piece of thread, while others look much more like feathers instead. Man, look at them. Thing 1 and thing 2, they're saying, wish we had feathers, but we don't have any. You can also call fillers by the name antennae. Watch an insect and see all the things it does. Some can swim. Diving beetle, it can swim. The dog flea, it jumps or crawls. And a pipe-vine caterpillar crawls and scoots a little around. Well, and others chirp like a cricket. Others flash like beautiful fireflies. Well, then there's bumblebees, and they zoom, zoom, zoom all around the sky, but they have a little sting that can make a tear come to your eye. Birds and frogs look for insects in order to eat them, so insects work hard to make sure they don't meet them. Some, like this wasp, have bright colors, they say. Don't come near me, I'll sting you. So just stay away, as the little bee tries to go sting the frog. Well, the moth's wings are colored, and they look like a tree it's resting upon so that no one can see it. And that little moth is called an underwing moth. Well, now we get to the spittlebug. The spittlebug sits and he spits out little bubbles. It's wet and it's cool and can save him from a lot of trouble. For when he's all covered in bubbly form, if a hungry bird comes, it thinks nobody's home. So when you're gonna leave your house, put a lot of bubbles out front. They'll think you ain't home. Here's a riddle I learned from my mother. How's a skunk and a ladybug like one another? Well, when danger is near, it is easy to tell. They suddenly give off a terrible smell. Ooh-wee, not very good would be around a skunk. But if you ever are, I hear the tomato juice is a really good thing to get it off. Because I know vinegar don't work. These buzzy little insects are my friends. The ants, they look like ant seeds. Other insects and plants, ants are so strong they can fit things that weigh over 10 times their weight, and they do it all day. Well, so if you were strong as an ant, you would see you could lift up to 10 cats in a tall tree easily. Look, here's a beautiful queen hummingbird, or little bee. Which of these honeybees, and I am sure you'll agree, that these bees are so busy as can be. Worker bees collect the food, and they keep the hive clean. They protect it from danger and wait on the queen. She must stay in one place. It's her job to lay around all day. Dozens and dozens of eggs every day. When a bee has discovered where food can be found, she goes back to her friends and starts dancing around. So be nice to your friends. If you see a bunch of food or treats out, go share them with your friends. That'll always be nice, and it'll always give you a good conversation if you want to make a good friend. First, the little bee wiggles, then she waggles in circles and so, and all the other bees know which way to go. We can grow lots of flowers with help from bees. They store dust from each flower in the back of their knees. The dust is called pollen. Next flower they find, when they land on it, they say, leave some pollen behind. And the pollen actually is really good because it makes more flowers. This is called pollination. And it makes a new seed that can grow even more flowers with everyone's needs. Some insects I know can be unwanted guests, like fleas, flies, and mosquitoes can really be a pest. Fleas live on cats, dogs, rats, hamsters, and mice. They bite is quite itchy, which isn't too nice. But the wonderful jumpers, if they jump, why, if we were fleas, we'd jump over a house. And we don't even do it without having to take a little bit of strong ease. Have you ever wondered what does fly buzz? Well, the reason that a fly buzz, it beats its wings so fast, and each time that it does, its wings make a sound. You can hear in your ear, and this sounds like you know there's a fly flying near, like buzz, buzz. Little fly sounds running around. And look, here's thing one and thing two. They say here's a fact about flies that we both thought was icky. They can walk upside down since their feet are so sticky. So if our feet was sticky, we could walk upside down too. I don't think mosquitoes are very polite. When they're hungry, they land, and they sting when they bite. So we don't want to get around the mosquitoes, but it's the only female mosquitoes that do. So if you ever get bit by a mosquito, just realize you got bit by a female. They just bite you all the time. But you know, male mosquitoes will never come bothering you. Caterpillars, see the pretty caterpillar up here on the top? Well, caterpillars do something you might think is strange. They start out as one thing, and then one day they change. Some spin a small house on a branch just like this. And this is a home that they make, and it's called chrysalis. It's actually a cocoon kind of thing, and they crawl inside. If you watch it, you'll see when a few weeks go by, and it turns into a beautiful butterfly. Well, look, here's thing 1 and thing 2 again, and they're saying here's a quick fact that we both thought was neat. Butterflies can taste their food with their feet, but never try to taste your food with your feet. It don't taste the same. So, on warm summer evenings, you may see the light of fireflies off and on the night. Well, they're like tiny flashlights. They float in the sky, and if you try to catch them, it's all right to try. Just use a jar with a lid. Watch them glimmer and glow, and then open the jar and let them all glow. Because you can't pin up a little bitty critter in a jar. It won't live. So all day and all night on the ground, in the air, insects are moving around. Everywhere. It's important for us to keep learning about them. The world we know couldn't go on without them. The butterfly, ladybug, ant, and the bee, well, they make everything better for you, and mainly for me. Well, that's all of that one, and I figured, little bee man, you would like the little bug one, so let me try the last book I've decided to pick for you. It's called Would You Rather Be a Pollywog? And you know, I think, bee man, I've heard you call it pollywog, but there's a lot of people out there don't know what that is. So, near your house is a place which I am fond. There's a body of water that we call a pond. I'm going to visit it. You can come too. Your mother will not mind at all if you do. But just if you ever go to a pond and you're a little kid, make sure you have an adult so that way you don't go swimming on your own and don't make it back. Okay, back to the book. Well, the sunshine beats down. Help pond plants to thrive. The plants feed pond animals and they keep them alive. From the top to the bottom, I think that you'll see that this pond here is lively as lively can be. The smallest thing here is so tiny, I hope you've thought to bring with you your new microscope, because with a microscope you can actually see little bitty things in the water, in a pond if you want to. Now back to the book, it says, come look at this slide where in one water drop tiny algae plants float and animals hop. So you'll need a microscope and some slides to see and check out things that are in the water. So you never know. There may be amoeba and spirulina. They are living things that feed a good range of creatures like freshwater snails and slippery leeches. With their teeth like fleas, snails scour and glean the algae off the rocks. So the snails keep the clean rocks and stuff so we don't slip on them. That's always a good thing to have around. So when you go to the pond or the lake, you don't slide on the rocks. Well, then the leeches eat worms. Way down in the muck, leeches have muscles that help them suck. So you see the little leech here, and then you see the little worm. Well, you might hear the buzz of insects around. A pond is a place where insects are abound. Metamorphosis, which is shown on the pages, is one great big word for insect life stages. This bug changes little from nymph to adult Incomplete metamorphosis is the result. And look over here, there's thing 1 and thing 2. They're always sliding in these books somewhere. Okay, well, complete metamorphosis starts out with an egg. Then it goes to larva. Then it goes to a pupa stage, and then adult. Complete metamorphosis, see 2 things charts. Shows eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. The last part. The life of an insect has 4 distinct stages. Can you see the changes that occur as it ages? Well, most pond insects bite. Most boatmen do not like water bugs that bite, a nymphs that live down in the leaves and under the rock. Breathing under the water is really no trouble. They swim to the top and drag down a bubble. When the air is used up before they can drown, they capture another air pocket and bring it back down. When they're ready to fly and take off, they swim to the surface and let their wings dry. And thing 1 and thing 2 says the fact of that will shock and amaze. Some insects live only 2 to 3 days. Before we leave insects, let's visit one more. It's called water strider. In fact, I see 4. With long legs, it runs on the water, and yet it does not fall in. And it does not get wet. Its belly is waterproof. 2 middle legs row, 2 hind legs steer. You'll be happy to know these insects are prey to the fish, frogs, and birds. Of those we go on now and say in a few words that the sunfish can swim near the surface, like so. The bullhead and the darter, both, they swim down below. So them are actually fish under the water. But they can get real close to the top of the water. Pumpkin seed teeth are so sharp they don't fall to crush shells and eat up the freshwater snail. The little bluegill fish eat larvae on fine fishy treat. For crappie, the algae are so tasty to eat. The fish should be wary. You would want to know why. Kingfisher is watching from the tree nearby. When the moment is right, and this is my hunch, it will swoop down and have, oh boy, some fresh fish for lunch or dinner tonight. The ducks like to nest in the cattails on shore, laying 3 to 4 eggs and sometimes even more. When ducklings hatch out, they follow the mother all in a neat line, one after another. So it's always good to follow your mother. And you know what? When she's not there, it's always good to stay close to your father. Well, ducklings are covered with soft fuzzy down. Down helps them float so that way they won't drown. Mom duckling, she'll actually teach dabbling, drinking head over feet to fill up the bill with good food to eat. The groove in their bills drain the water you see. The name for the grooves, why they're called laramie. See the grooves on the side of the bill? Well, at the pond you'll meet, if you have any luck, a swan or a goose or even a whistling duck. With swan geese, get ready for this, their voices may come out sounding more like a hiss. What is that sitting over there on the fallen log? If you think you can tell me, of course it's a frog. A frog lays her eggs in a clump. In that way, the eggs seem too big to be eaten as prey. So actually, inside the eggs, the tadpoles grow. The gills to breathe under the water, you know. In 2 weeks, more or less, out pop pollywogs. Tadpoles is another name for baby frogs. They try to blend in, look under those logs, and I think you will find at least 1 or 2, maybe 6 pollywogs. At 5 weeks, a pollywog changes some more. Hind legs pop out where there were none before. The forelegs sprout out from 2 lumps from its head. It loses its gills and gets lungs instead. Its mouth and jaws widen and its tail starts to shrink. This pollywog looks like a frog now, I think. See the beautiful frog in Dr. Seuss' Cat in the Hat Hand? Well, you may wonder what makes the loud croaking bellow. It's a bullfrog. It's the name of the loud croaking fellow. It puffs up and lets out a loose, slow sound. It's the way bullfrogs say, "Don't try to eat me, I am too big to stay away." You'll also find here something else rather cute. It's an amphibian called a newt. An amphibian, just so you understand, lives part of the time in water and part of the time on land. The newt hides its eggs among the pond's weeds. Weeds offer protection a little egg needs. When the egg hatches and open, a larvae swims out, and it lives in the water and swims all about. The larvae gets bigger and turns into an ift. That's a red critter you'll see on the left. So see, here's an ift, and there is a larva. So the larva gets bigger, turns into an ift. The ift crawls out on the land and its legs, but returns to the pond when it wants to lay its eggs. Turtles. Oh man, I wonder if anybody has any turtles out there. Well, turtles bury their eggs in banks in the spring. Eating bugs from the pond is their favorite thing. Well, most turtles are laying around. They're basking in the heat of the sun, like Mabel or Marble. Let's see, I think Marble is a good name for a turtle. Well, if you look on the rocks, I think you'll see her. And your mother is calling. It's lunchtime, I see. Tell me which kind of pond life you would rather be. Oh, all that I've shown you between a snail, a duck, a fish, or a frog. I can tell you right now that I think I'd be a pollywog. Well, B-Man, let me tell you, that was a great request. And we did Would You Rather Be a Pollywog? And on Bugs Beyond, and the most famous Dr. Seuss book I knew when I was a kid, Would You Eat Green Eggs and Ham? Well, that's all for January, and let me tell you, it's been really fun reading. So, look forward, give me some questionnaires, tell me some ideas. Maybe you'd be picked to do a nice little story. So thank you, B-Man, and you have a nice time. But always remember, when you think pink, think of me. Love, Alize.